Senator Whitmer.
Mr. President, I rise under the Constitution for my right to my no vote explanation.
Please proceed.
Thank you. Now, Mr. President, we've got serious problems here in Michigan. Problems that deserve our utmost attention and effort. And instead today, we've spent the last couple of hours, and when I say we, I mean the Republican majority has spent the last couple of hours trying to figure out how to explain away actions that trample on that Constitution. First and foremost, this bill does not contain any, and I mean any, of the changes set forth in the as-introduced version of the bill. Literally, there was nothing currently before the Senate that was in House Bill 4246 when it was introduced. Our Constitutional Convention delegates thought that this might happen. They worried such an abuse of power would occur, and they blocked it by banning changes of purpose and by calling it the title object provision. Yet, as we near the 50th anniversary of that great charter, the majority is ignoring it. It appears that the guiding principle of this majority is if you can't win under the rules, change the rules, or ignore them, as they did with their own presidential primary last week, and they're doing it with this bill. I'm wondering, what does the Tea Party think of trampling on the Constitution in this way? Are they a movement of principles or expediency? If it is a movement of principles, they should be outraged by your action and others like it, where this majority seeks to subvert popular will, subvert elections, and change rules after the game. This substitute throws out the Constitution, all to get a handful of students at the University of Michigan who want to hold an election. We know where the majority stands on U of M students, because guess what? You voted on it last week. And I guess it's okay to have them, for you to have that view. But our Constitution requires that you follow certain rules and processes and subject your actions to the voters, and not just ram things through by entirely replacing bills with new content. Mr. President, this isn't the first time this has happened. This is a theme and a governing principle of what is a one-party state right now. We said it with the emergency manager law. We saw it with the shameful Oakland County redistricting law. We continue to see it with silly appropriations being stuffed into every bill to avoid the vote of the people, to cut off debate like you did on this bill. And perhaps worst of all, Senate Bill 865, which is an end run around petitions that were turned in last week under the right of referendum. Now, I sat here watching as you tried to scramble to figure out how to get your way out of the legal morass that you waded into. I saw your legal counsel, the Speaker's legal counsel, the Governor's legal counsel, the Attorney General legal counsel, all huddle in your back room for three reasons. One, how do we get away with trampling on the Michigan Constitution? That's what they were working on. Two, how do you subvert the Senate rules? And three, how do you avoid a constitutional requirement that the House give IE to your vote on the grad student issue? Well, congratulations, you figured out how to do it, but it's unprecedented. You've made a mockery of this institution. You've turned your back on the people, and at some point, people will see exactly what you're doing. When Mike Cox last week weighed in on your Republican primary and said it's like third world voting, a banana republic where you change the rules just because you don't like the outcome, he's right. It might be inconvenient for you to sit around here for a few hours, and it might be inconvenient for you to let us speak. But by God, it's the rule of this state. It's the rule of law. And every time you trample on it, it might be inconvenient to you personally, but you're taking away rights of people in this state. I ask that my comments be printed in the Journal.